Hey guys, this is Joshua Nikolajewski. I am the founder of Kaizen Web Marketing, and today's tutorial is going to be all about managing WordPress's what seems to be complicated dashboard, which I don't find complicated, and I hope after this video it'll be the same for you. To start off, to even get there, in case you don't know how to do that, you're going to type in your website URL, and you see it already appeared for me, so it's going to be the website URL /wp-admin. If you don't remember that, I would recommend just putting that in your notes. If anything, so once you get in, for me, I'm already logged in. That's why, but you're just going to type in your username and password, and you'll appear here. So the first tab is Bluehost, which is what I use as my hosting platform. That's going to vary upon everybody, so I'm not going to really go into here. I never even touch it, realistically. And most times, it's going to make you appear immediately at the dashboard. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't really use it for anything. For the analytics, I use my Google Analytics here. I have a lot of tabs, by the way. That's just how I roll, so be patient. But I check all my analytics here, so that's called Google Analytics 4, in case you have no idea. So I don't really touch anything on the dashboard. Then going forward to the pages, this is the first important one. And actually, I didn't even mention this beforehand. I actually have a plugin in terms of how I organize the dashboard. This is not what yours is going to look like. I have a specific plugin which I'll show you how I use it. But I organize basically the things that I use the most in the top, and then as I go down in the dashboard, it's things that I'm never going to use. But that being said, pages, this is where you're going to find all your sites. Now, do I ever really use a pages site? I mean, obviously I build my pages. There's two ways to go about it in terms of editing a page. Either you go to visit site, which is by typing, clicking here, and then going to a page, and just for me, it's just enable visual builder, but everybody varies. That's usually how I edit my pages, but the only time I'd really go into here is if you want to check out, I have an SEO plugin, I'm sure you do too, which I will go to edit, which is different than the visual builder. It goes into like the back end, or not necessarily the back end, but I'll give you an idea. So this is my About Us page. You can't really see anything except the title of the page here, because I use Visual Builder to build it. Let's give it a second to load. Alright, sorry. Computer decided to be extra slow. So as you can see, you can't see anything on the website. But here, I would change some things. This varies on per person, but I was going to block. Right here. I would go to Rank Map. That's a plugin I use. And this is where I would edit the meta description, put in my keyword. You can see it's 40 out of 100. I'm not necessarily ranking for my About Us, but your homepage, I recommend trying to optimize it and listening to what it has to say here, which gives you suggestions. But that being said, that's really the only time I use this part, but everybody's different. Experiment with it. If you're going to make your website through this, obviously you're going to go through this. But going back, so that's really everything to know about pages. Post, it's a little similar. This is where if you are a blog or a website, it's going to be very important for you. This is where you're going to put all your blogs. I recommend separating them in categories. I don't necessarily, just because I just started my blog. For example, if you are in the, let's say, roofing business, you want to separate your blogs in terms of when you're talking specifically on roofs and talking specifically on keeping your houses constructed. I don't really know, but you get the idea. You can organize them, and then obviously there's the search bar here, which if you need to find specific posts. And then to create a new one, as I mentioned before, all buttons here. Usually for add new, it's in the top left. Then going forward for plugins, here's where you can manage add new and update plugins here. You'll find them on the sidebar too, which I'll show you here. There's a specific plugin, and then a lot of them appear for some reason under settings. There's a couple plugins, but I'm going to go through another video where I'm going to explain which plugins I use for every single website. Give you an idea. But that being said, this is where you can manage them, you can update them, you can change your settings here. Then pushing forward is the media section. This is where you'll find all your images and videos that you have been using. I recommend always for every website to delete all images you don't use. Therefore, it takes up storage on your site and actually can decrease the time of your site. Then pushing forward, Divi, this is the theme I use to make my websites, so you don't necessarily need to know anything. you are a Divi user, I can make another video on how to manage this, but that's for another day. I'm going to speak to the public today. So this is a plugin. Your plugin, there's a lot of sidebars here. This is for, like this example, when I click on plugin, it's just a dashboard, but I don't really want to know dashboard. I rather want to know the specific settings which go into here. And next is appearance. This is a very underrated one that I find very important. This is specifically, sorry for a little disruption around, but I don't touch patterns. I don't touch premium themes, but this is where you would add a theme. So first thing we would click appearance to go to your theme. This, I import my theme. You can find a WordPress theme to feel however you want to do it. There's premium themes right here. You can really touch it, but by all means check them out if you really like them. And customize is a very important one. This is where before I make any of my websites, once I download WordPress and everything, I go immediately here, at least for the simple reason of I change, number one, the buttons. I change them to, therefore when I import them, they're all the same, in terms of I don't have to change the style. And on top of that, I change the homepage settings to the home page immediately, rather than the post page. Now, if you're a blog article, you want to change it to the post page, but again, like I said, it varies on everybody. And the other thing I changed is, where is it? Header and navigation. This is where I would change. I'm sorry, not header and navigation, general settings. My typography, figure out what fonts you want to use, standard, therefore you don't have to change it every time. And your site identity, I add my tagline and the site title right here immediately. Customize is a very important one for when you're building WordPress. And all these things can be found in the customize, so really focus on this. But the other one I would recommend is menus. You're going to make your menus here. I only have one menu, which is my main menu, and you play around here. I'll make a separate video on specifically how to use it, but this is where you would find your menu. Next, tools. The only things I touch when it comes to tools here is the site health, which helps you understand if you're doing anything really wrong, but I wouldn't also listen to a lot of what it has to say. This is loading at the moment, but here we go. Some of this isn't really useful, but everybody's different on tongue. Import and export, I usually use different ways to do it, but it's possible here as well. And everything here, I never really touch. I don't think it's important. Users, where you can add new people and update things with your profile, but it would be as simple as clicking the button here. And it doesn't matter where you put the username, but the most important thing is to make sure you get your email right for your client or whoever you want to add. Make sure you get the website right. And on top of that, make sure it's a password that people can remember. Lastly, you can play around with the poll. And what this is, I'll provide a link in the description of what each role does, but the highest is administrator and the lowest subscriber. And this is in terms of the accessibility and things they can edit on a website, whoever user you're adding. Then, pushing forward, is settings. I never really touch anything, but the only things I would recommend when it comes to settings, you can change the tagline here as well. Make sure you have the site right. Change the admin email address, therefore you're getting the emails rather than the standard what it changes to. And nothing really else here. In terms of other things, I would never touch writing, reading, discussion. Media already can be found. The only thing would be permalinks. And I keep it to the standard, but if you want to change the way permalinks are built, play here. Then you find some plugins. Rather than going to plugins, you can also find them here. I don't know why, but that's just how it works. FAQ, that's terms of my theme, so not really applies to all. So with projects, difference between projects and posts, they're similar to pages. Projects and pages, they're similar, but they're designed specifically for showcasing work. They can be organized using project types and categories, but they don't appear in feeds or tag listings, and they are indexed as thoroughly by search engines as something like posts. Usually for my portfolios, I make them just on a regular page, but you can also play around with the project to change the design. Comments, this is where you'll find where people are commenting on your blog posts if you're a blogger. I never really check it out, but if you were to, it will be here. And then testimonials, that's nothing relevant. I use a different Popup Maker in terms of my theme. It's provided, but if you want to make one, play around here. And lastly, code snippets. This is just another plugin I have, which I think it's crucial for every site. This is where I basically plug in the code for analytics to be portrayed, and on top of that, you find that you get a lot of emails by WordPress, and I disabled them. So that's really what it's for. So hopefully you understand the menu a little bit more after this. If not, send me some questions in the description. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this. Many more to come. I'm going to be more specific on each post, but this was just a general overview of what each part of the menu is for and how to use it. So that being said, I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe, and take care.